The goal, inspire the light in people. Hadi, I like my son is Hadi, Allah's Hadi. So I was thinking like Huda, Hadi, Noor. My middle name is Noor, so I was like Allah's Noor, Allah's light. And then after going to Umrah, I was like Rasulullah is Noor Arsh. And so then I kind of came up with it.
Quran made very interesting allusion or comparison or analogy, in fact, between the Prophet and you see Quran talks about the sun, okay, as Sirajan wa Haja. Siraj, the light, okay, or the lantern that is emitting the light that is very bright. And when Quran described the Prophet, okay, he described him as also Sirajan Munira. Siraj, yeah. The same word, which means that the sun, you remember when we talked about, and Naji was emphasizing the idea that it is not the sun that will make the day clear, but the day will make the sun clear. وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا جَلَّاهَا. The day is playing the role of making the sun manifest, because outside the atmosphere, the sun will look like a disk, yellow disk, but surrounded by darkness, because there is nothing to reflect the light. You see? So in order for the sun to become evident, it needs the particles that will reflect its light. This is why the day Quran talks about it as is another creature. وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. Day and night are created. So the day is created in order for us to see the sun. Otherwise it will not show. It will not manifest itself. The same thing, Muhammad ﷺ is like the sun. But if he's not surrounded by people who accept his message, what is the value then? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So Muhammad ﷺ life, okay, became more evident because of the people around him who accepted the message and spread it, and it really shines. Until today, okay, we are just receiving these small rays coming from Medina. You see, Medina is like you get to the point that it's like going to the sun. Now everything is emitting this light coming. We are receiving till now these small rays. The same way with the sun, how much we are receiving from it. If it goes a little bit higher than that, it will burn us. If we get close a little bit to it, it will burn us. But you see, the analogy is very beautiful.
It is very beautiful. It's very.
So you see how much responsibility is put on us as people who accepted that message to make really the sun of the Prophet really shine and manifest itself. Otherwise, it will go with the Muhammad ﷺ is not anymore with us. You see what I mean? But he basically, his period was, the way I see it, like the period of inception. It's like a delivery, or what happened before the delivery. So it's just the point of this inception. But everything after, the differentiation is really, before that baby is born, it needs to differentiate. The inception is just the beginning. But the differentiation now, it becomes really the role of the ummah.
Well, if you use that analogy,
you see, from the individual to the community.
Well, I'm just thinking on a cellular level. That's what the Quran says, that you came and you became one, but then you divided it into multiple cells.
Exactly. Why then I need all these people? That's why I always start my khutbah this way, with this ayah, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة ثم خلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. This is the idea that you are talking about. So from that one self came, and it became like two, Adam and his mate, and from them come all. Why I need all these people? If I can do my job alone, I can do, I don't need anybody else. But no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easier. He said, oh, see all these people I am creating around you to help you execute basically your mission.
To come back to the one.
So the transition from the role of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an individual who reached perfection, now the next stage was how the ummah, how humanity as a collective will struggle to reach the perfection through this differentiation. You see, I think it's very strong idea, okay, to see it as a continuity, but also a significant transition. As if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, you have now, I gave you all the ingredients. You don't even need any more prophets, because you have reached the final stage. You don't need any more. This universe, the same thing. It's the final creation for you to play your role. You don't need another universe. It's there. But you have to approach it in a way to know how to move and navigate through it. Yes.
As Quran gives us 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so it also gives us 99 names of Rasulullah. So that's what I think, what is the significance of it, and I think it's one of it.
Yeah, I think, let me put it in this way, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam exemplified and personified, and the one who best internalized these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he himself told us to follow تخلقوا بأخلاق الله. These attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, they mean nothing unless you internalize them in your own life. How I'm going to know what is the meaning of Rahim if I do not practice Rahmah? How I am going to understand Ali if I do not understand what is the meaning of knowledge and science and all, and seek them in my own life? How I'm going to know what is the meaning of Allah being Al-Adl, that just, if I do not really be just in my life and practice justice in my life? How I'm going to know what is the meaning of Allah being that creator if I do not create? You see where so Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the best, who basically, and وَأَخْلَاقُ al-Quran, he would say. If you want to know about the attributes and the khuluq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, read Quran. And his wife Aisha radiallahu used to say, if you really want to know Quran, look at Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see what I mean? So if you want to know about Muhammad, read Quran. If you want to know about Quran, look at Muhammad. كان خلقه القرآن. His conduct was basic. He was only tapping from Quran. So the message is also to us. These 99 names that you are talking about, think of them as 99 dimensions in us. How many of them we have realized? And to what extent we have realized each one of them? For Allah, they are in the absolute. For us, they are relative. But what does it really mean relative? It means that the the chance that is open to us is unlimited. So you have to move. Move in the area of adl. Move as much as you can in the area of rahmah. Move as much as you can in the area of science and knowledge. Move in hikmah, in wisdom. Move in the... These are all dimensions. But what have we taught ourselves and the people around us? Go and make zikr. Allah, Allah, la ilaha illa huwa, Allah huwa al-khaliq al-bari al-musawwir lahu al-asr. You see what I mean? But without understanding that this remembrance is just to remind you what is expected from you. Where is your aspiration? Where you have to what level you need to aspire. Make sense? So it's not just like something. We need to demystify these ideas so that we'll have practical applications in our life. Believe me, the moment you tell people that the more you learn, the closer you are to Allah. Then immediately say, oh my God, this is very beautiful. Who will be more appreciative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? More the people who have knowledge. إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Ulama, you know what? Scientists. In today's language, ulama is scientists, the knowledgeable people. People who are solid in knowledge, are the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The most appreciative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because they know what does it really mean to be a scientist.
Yeah, I think even the name, like the certain names of Allah, I think we have just made it one-dimensional too. Knowledge itself, it became more one-dimensional too. Means if you're learning knowledge, we became like, okay, in order to be alim, you have to be knowledgeable about Quran and the Deen only. But that's the thing, that's what,
Because
this
they
is
saw
not
it static.
Right, exactly.
Static, which means it's not, they did not see it dynamic.
Right.
Which means that there is no limit.
That's why it's not transformational.
That-
It doesn't change. It
that's-
doesn't shift.
Yeah, there is no ceiling that, I have reached. No. Because it is in our realm remains relative. So that it means not to limit you. Relative doesn't mean to limit you. But compared to the absolute, you see the journey, how long it is. So don't stop moving. Continue the journey. And I think that's very beautiful, but at the same time it gives you a vision. Where are you going? What does it really mean to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Where Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be in that vision. Muhammad will never be Allah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Don't mix them. But Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the best example in humanity where the attributes of Allah have been realized. So he remains an uswa. Uswa doesn't mean to mimic. It's beyond mimicking. We call it emulating. But even emulating, it doesn't mean just like to be another copy. But he is showing the way.
He's an embodiment.
Exactly, he is really an embodiment. كان خلقه القرآن. So you still have a very good example, but in a different dynamics. I cannot really repeat exactly the same situations that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam faced. You see what I mean? The dynamics. But I can take from that dynamic the principles that can help me to apply them in other settings. I see a patient and I learn how to apply the principle, but there are no two patients who are really the same, even if they have the same disease. But I learned how the principle, the lesson, and I try to apply it in a different setting. Because each patient has his or her own dynamics. And the same thing for societies. They are not the same. People are falling into this problem today. They think they can repeat the same experience 1400 years ago. There is no way. But you can learn from that experience, deduce the principles that will help you to face a new set of dynamics.
You're just making me reflect on, like, obviously we talk about critical thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like how religion has been established. Again, it's the same around the world. It's listen to us and do as we say. But they don't understand the meaning or the concept, so there's no life in how it's like the fear. We fear Allah, we fear everything, but we don't realize the love of Allah and the love of Rasulullah and the love of their life, and using it as an example and thinking about how it translates into our life and what is that message for us. We don't see ourselves as that entity to be making a difference and carrying the light. It's just very
What you are saying is really a new way of approaching religion to become itself a science. Let me explain what I mean by that. How do you define a science? How a new discipline emerges and we call it science. Let us say, take sociology. There was one point where people say we need this now we have a discipline, a new discipline called sociology. When that happened? Is it because there was really like a compendium of information that were put together and they say, oh, now we have a study or a discipline, a profession called sociology? No. When that compendium of information became capable of answering related questions, it became a discipline. It became a science. Now, how we can transform or make of religion a science capable of answering related questions? Can you answer them without applying critical thinking? Meaning, how do we know what we know? What is the methodology that helped us to make these inferences? You see while the other way around that has been basically applied so far, especially in the last 500 years ago, is like to look at religion as a static thing, that I have all the answers, just let me ask and they will give me the answer. It doesn't work like that, because the dynamics 500 years ago are not the same as today. So you have to pose the question at a different level of understanding and see how religion as a science will help you to reach a solution or an answer.
I think it's also shortcut. It's easier.
Yeah,
It's very easy.
do this, do that.
Right.
Yes, no, okay, 0, 1. You see, I mean, it's like, oh, I have a saying this and this and that, so I stop there. I don't have to think anymore.
I mean, that's how it's taught. You pray, you do this, you fast, but again, you don't understand the meaning of why you're doing it and how that manifests. Like, we all know that.
What is the relationship with my daily life?
And prayer should change your way of being.
It itself changes. Do you pray Maghrib the same way you pray Zuhr, for example? Even the shape, it changes from hour to hour within the same day.
I really reflect on what you said.
If I don't see in it a clue of the need to change when the circumstances, the time and the place it changes, I'm not really understanding. And the earlier generations understood that. Even among the jurists, For example, Imam Shafi'i moved from Baghdad in Iraq to Cairo in Egypt. He changed the whole thing, all his inferences. The majority, they say more than 90% of his rulings changed. Why? Because he's facing a different dynamics. But in both situations, his rulings did not go beyond the basic principles. But the basic principles help him to make different rulings in different times and places. Later on, it became static. Oh, I have a saying about this. This is what you need to do. Yeah, this saying, if it were true, it was related to the setting. Now you are asking me to apply the same solution to a different problem? As one person said, when you repeat the same, approach, okay, to really evolving the problems, it's really it's really a definition of sanity, of insanity.
Same thing with antibacterial stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. You can relate to that easily, right? Like, the more you do it, it's the same approach is gonna make the bacteria.
Wallahi, I thought about the same thing today.
Right.
I swear by God that I say, oh my God, imagine humanity still thinks the same thing about, let us say, an organism like Staph aureus. Many people would have died. No question about it. And I can show it to you by a plot, by a graph. But because humanity responded to the new challenges in a different way, they were able really to at least face and confront a new problem like that.
Well, going back to the Prophet ﷺ, everyone says that when you spoke to him, everyone felt like he was talking to them, and they were, and that's what transformational leadership is that one of the benchmarks of it is individualized attention. And so basically that's
Same
what
thing
you're
we say
saying.
now, patient center.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what you're saying, that every person will have an individualized need that then can manifest in the same.
Although you can give them the same name, all of them will be, for example, diabetics, but there are no two patients with diabetes will be the same. Each person has his or her own dynamics, profile, characteristics, okay, however they are demographic or underlying disease and conditions or exposures. There is no way you can repeat, let it alone to repeat the same experience of another society. Facing different type of challenges. So again, with that, we can basically continue really our discussion on the surah that we started last time, Surah Al-Mutafiffeen, which is number 83, and the theme of the surah is really in continuation of the previous chapters that highlighted the social problems that many infested the society at the time of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to show that the need, why there is a need for a reformer at the level of prophecy. It's not any individual seeking reform, but we are dealing here with a situation which needs reformation at the level of, or led by a prophet at the peak of prophecy, which tells you how bad was really the situation, why it needed, what is the justification for the emergence of a new prophet in that part of the world. And again, as we saw last time and the previous sessions, that the theme can be encapsulated really in one word: injustice, that is manifesting itself in different ways and shapes. However, as we saw it in Surah Al-Fajr, manifesting itself in the inequity in the society, or ostracizing certain groups in the society, those who are really poor, needy, weak, the greed manifested by a certain strata in the society, keeping others deficient in really so many things, even basically to exploit them. And then we saw in Surah Al-Mutafiffeen, okay, another form of injustice, not only like misjudging, measuring, and giving people less than they deserve, but what they are really doing, they are really humiliating, demonizing, and belittling, which means it reflects the way they view others. What does it mean when you try like to cheat on somebody else? What does it really mean it means that you are more important when you have a right to take it perfectly back. But when the right is due to somebody else, you don't give it. I mean, in the right and appropriate measure. So you really looking down, and this is why Quran used the verb beautifully. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ. Usually, you are not really like when you are making a transaction, you weigh the merchandise. Is that right? Like let us say dates. You measure how much you are really selling that individual. Quran is saying not only when you are measuring for them, when you are measuring them, when you are scaling them, when you are weighing them, not weighing for them. وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ. In Arabic we say كَالَ لَهُ. No, here say كَالُوهُمْ. They became the object, like the merchandise. If you are giving the merchandise in lower measure, this means that you are looking at these people as being less. You see where is really how the fabric of the society. It's not really a measure you deserve $1 and he gave you 90 cents. You are not really measuring that the value of this individual by the 10 cents difference, but the principle itself that you were treated as you do not deserve to be treated equally. And so later on, you will see Quran will use a very big word, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا. In verse number, like the last paragraph, from verse number 29. Did you see that? Do you have? Oh, you don't have. Yeah.
In the same?
Yeah. And verse number 29.
Those in the
Yeah.
same?
إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا.
Yeah. Read the translation.
Those in sin used to laugh at those who believe.
Yeah. Again, the translators are using really a very general term, the sinners. But really, it's really the criminals.
Yeah, the criminals, yeah. Absolutely.
When we say jarima or jurum is a crime. So it means that their actions, their practices mount up to become a social crime. Because later we will see that these people are really bullying those who accepted the message of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What does it really mean, bullying? Today we are facing a similar problem at our schools. Is that right? What does it really mean when a group of students start bullying an individual student, taking advantage of certain thing?
They think they are powerful and the other one is weak.
Weak?
Yeah.
Trying to make fun of that individual, making that person less. They choose the worst thing that is prevailing in society and they try to ascribe it to that individual. And you can see from what the kids are talking about, it reflects what are really the diseases in the society, that they take them and use them as the adjectives that will throw at this being bullied to make them the worst in the society. That you deserve to be. Although all these are really like accusations, but they take them and throw them at these individuals to make them feel less, weak, and after that, after some time, they believe themselves. They believe not in themselves. They believe that they are really less than others, and you can tell how to the point that some of them are committing suicide. What does it mean when somebody commits suicide? It means that the individual feeling in himself or herself has predominate the feeling that he or she is part of a society. Because as human beings, what makes us stable? That on one hand we have the feeling of being unique individuals, but at the same time as part of a society. When one feeling dominates over the other, the balance is disturbed. It is the best recipe for suicide, that I am not needed anymore.
I'm not worthy.
I'm not worthy of being
My
around.
life doesn't matter.
Nobody, yes, life is not worth it anymore. You see what, it's very, I mean, thankfully, but imagine yourself reaching a situation where you feel this way. We are trying to understand. We are not here to say this is good or this is bad. We are trying, in order to solve this problem, we need to understand it. If I don't have this type of understanding, how am I going really to solve it? Again, as we said before, yes, it will manifest at the individual level, but you see how it is predicted socially. If you don't solve the problem in the community around that individual being bullied, you will not really solve the problem. The problem will continue, and that individual may reach into the edge where they can do the unthinkable.
I think it's not just to individuals, I think it's communities.
And
at large too, right?
yeah.
So it could be like the smaller community or the other surrounding communities or countries, even.
Yeah. You can take it into different levels.
Right.
Yes. And this is why I was really very impressed by one of friend, not only to me but the whole community. He is a community organizer, and he understands. He lives in Evanston, in the good part of Evanston. And his own son was bullied at the school. So he thought about the situation. He said, if I go alone, okay, the administration will say, yes, we will take measures and we'll try to. You know what he did? He rallied 50 families from his town. He knows how to do it. This is his job. As a community organizer, he was trained to do these things. But not every one of us is capable of doing it. But he took advantage of his profession, of his expertise. He rallied 50 families and they went together to the school and addressed the issue. They took action on the spot. You see how, again, numbers matter. It's now a community thing, not an individual. And if you think about it, yes, his son was an individual being bullied, but if you do not address that this is a social problem, and I am not really sure today when we are really facing the situation, we are addressing it at the social level. Because it is very difficult, it's not easy. It needs people who are really entrenched in social science to understand that there are social problems that manifest themselves at the individual level. For the common individual, they see it as individual. This person commits suicide. They don't see that the society was behind the suicide of that individual. So unless we solve the root cause, which is embedded in the society, and this is really the strength, I would say, of Quran, while telling us, it's easy to say, oh, there were... No, there is a deeper issue here. That the problem was at the... I mean, we talk about, let us say, Bilal was persecuted, the big stones put on his chest, and he will say, Ahadun. Yes, it is, he is an individual being. But the problem is not there. The problem is in the society who start to see that this individual who was a slave now is standing up and asking for his own rights. What is his right? To choose what to believe in. But it is not a master just like trying to punish or torture. This is how it looked. But the deeper problem, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا, in the plural. There is a problem in the society. And this problem stems from injustice, from the way they look at others. They are less, they are weaker, they can be exploited, they have to work for us. Okay? So unless you solve these issues, you cannot restore stability in the society. It's going to disintegrate. And we saw it last time. Quran immediately connected these problems with consequences here and in the hereafter. And the similarities are very beautiful. Because these people have imprisoned themselves in these practices in this life, their outcome will be another bigger prison, sijjin. Their outcome will be a bigger prison, not different from the prison that they put themselves in this life. If these practices made them blind, not seeing the light, in the day of judgment, this curtain will be very thick so that they will not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ عَنْ رَبِّهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَمَحْجُوبُونَ. Before that he said, كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. These actions, يَكْسِبُونَ, these actions, these practices created a thick layer on their hearts. Their hearts mean here their inner selves. They are not able to, their conscience, their ability to how to order things, how to see things. Their insight. If this is the sight, this is their insight. Now they are blinded, they cannot see, so they will not see the light. Their light, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the day of judgment. You see where the connection, because if you recall, we were saying that there is a purpose behind every creation. If this applies to us, every time we create, we bring a new thing, there is an idea behind it. There is an objective, an aim, a goal behind it. You cannot really say, I am creating this iPhone for nothing. No, you have an idea. You have an objective. Is that right? Any creation, let it alone. This whole creation that you see around you and in yourself, and now you are telling me that there is no purpose? How come? How come that you are telling me this table, this chair were created for a purpose? And now you are looking at yourself and the people around you and all these creatures, plants, animals, the inanimate objects in this universe. And now you are telling me there is no purpose behind all this creation? It doesn't make sense. So there is, you see how the idea of the day of judgment is brought to the consciousness of the people. And so now Quran now is capable of connecting the dots. This is really an advancement. Even in teaching, you teach people like vocabulary, but then you teach them grammar. What does it mean, grammar? You can put things together to make a construct. In medicine, believe me, at the first few years, it is just teaching the students vocabulary, but then they start to put things together in order to reach a conclusion, to assess the situation and make a diagnosis and make a plan for the treatment. You see where? So, who will be the best? Who is capable of? Somebody who is capable of putting things together. Now we need to put these things together. Quran introduced the idea of the day of judgment. Now Quran is introducing the social ills of the society. But now let us bring them together. This leads to this. This is the outcome of these practices in this life, and there will be an outcome that will be reflected in the day of judgment. Or the outcome in the day of judgment is a real reflection of what happened in this life. The same thing today we will see on the other side. كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين. We are talking here, if we were talking about those who are going against justice, who are trying to disturb the stability and the balance of the society, there are also the virtuous who are always conscious of establishing and maintaining stability, balance in the society, or really bringing the balance into a higher level of understanding. So Quran is saying, if these people are in Sijjeen, in a prison, big prison in the day of judgment, Quran is talking about these people who are seeking virtue, who are seeking righteousness, are in a very high and lofty place. Alliyin, Ali, high, which means in order to reach that level, you have to struggle more. You have to work more in order to reach that level. Like we say, Firdaus al-A'la, fi Alliyin. This is really the place where you find prophets, people of virtue, martyrs. I mean, you see, Nabiyyin, was-Siddiqeen, was-Shuhada, was-Salihin. Quran calls them أنعمت عليهم. We say it in Al-Fatiha. صراط الذين أنعمت. So open a window. If we want to use the computer language, you see أنعمت عليهم, open a window and Quran will take you to another place where it says فأولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين. This is the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showered them with His bounties. These are the people in the highest place of paradise. In عليين. وما أدراك ما عليون. How much you know about this place? كتاب مرقوم. Kitab is a book, but also Quran uses it also to mean what is in the book. What is in the book? What is in the record of each one of us? There will be the result, the outcome. And this outcome is inscribed, marqoom. The same way we saw it, كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين وما أدراك ما سجين كتاب مرقوم. Their outcome is inscribed the same way you inscribe, like when you are making a fabric or sewing something and you put a picture or a number or something like that. It becomes part of the fabric itself. It's very difficult to remove because it was inscribed into it. And the same thing, this outcome is not going to change. There's here you can still have the chance to change. And Quran is always saying, reminding us that as long as you are alive, as long as this universe is working around you, you still have the chance to make a difference. And you can change that outcome. كتاب مرقوم يشهده المقربون. This outcome will be witnessed by those who are the closest to Allah. Again, I want you to see the comparison. The Quran talks about al-fujjar, those who al-Mutafiffeen, later we'll call them mujrimeen. Okay, these people are basically, we said that they will be away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They will be separated by a thick veil from Allah. Is that right? Here Quran is saying muqarrabun. They are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yashhaduhu al-muqarrabun. And then, so they are really, as Quran is saying after that these people of virtue are in a bliss, na'im. Inna al-abrara lafi na'im. They are in a bliss. على الأرائك ينظرون. So if these people, the bad people, are not able to see Allah, these people are sitting on their couches looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is very explicit in Quran. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. The same language. ناظرة and نضرة. The brightness of the bliss you can see in their faces. Because of happiness. Because of the joy. And it is said that, these material things that we are promised in Jannah will be nothing compared to being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and looking at His face. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. And here على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. If you look at them, you will see the bliss, the brightness of the bliss in their faces. Why? Because they are given that chance that opportunity to look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they have been working all their life without, to get closer to Him while they don't see Him. But they know about Him from His names. That the more they realize in this life, they feel that they are closer. Until that journey comes to its destination. Not here, but in the day of a judgment. In the hereafter. And now they are given this opportunity, this beautiful outcome to now realize. Because this will be, as we said before, that the hereafter is the life of absolute reality. While in this life, it cannot. This life that we know it today is not capable of, is not prepared for the revelation of the absolute reality. And we saw it, as we discussed before, that when Musa alayhi salam, he asked Allah, let me look at you. He said, okay, if you want to see me, I will prevail myself to this mountain. If that mountain stands up, you will see me. What happened to the mountain? It crumbled. What does that really mean? What is the lesson? That this universe, as we know it now, is not ready for absolute reality. It cannot withstand absolute reality, which is very important, because every time you reach something, you cannot see this final. And I think the quantum theory helped us to realize more this idea. Every time you reach an explanation of how this universe works, you see that there are newer questions that this understanding cannot really answer. Then you say, oh my God, I need to go to a higher level of understanding in order really to account for these new questions. It's a journey, but at each level it will help you to move. Once you reach a plateau, you say to yourself, no, I have, like Newtonian physics worked for 300 years. Is that right? But imagine if the humanity stopped at the Newtonian understanding of the universe. It's not saying that he was wrong, but that is the level that he was able to reach. If you want to apply it subatomic, it will not work. So you need a higher level of understanding. You see what I mean? With the Newtonian physics, you cannot determine the location of an object somewhere in this universe. Your GPS will not work according to Newtonian physics. If it were not for the idea of dilation of time, that time is not absolute. Mass is not absolute. With Einstein, you will not be able to something that we apply every day. I'm sure some of you probably used it today or yesterday. Did you say thank you to Einstein? Have we made, did our job and saying thank you every time we use the GPS?
He has to thank you today for bringing us to our attention.
Honestly,
These are something.
the same thing when you use your seat belt. Did you say thank you to Ralph Nader who brought this idea? Why we are not thankful?
Maybe we are.
No, I'm not trying in a different way. Yeah, but you see that, Quran is وَمَا يَفْعَلُوا مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَلَنْ يُكْفَرُوا.
I think what you are saying is true in every aspect.
Definitely, yeah. I'm talking about the most evident that we use every day.
Like your medical science.
No question.
Yeah.
I mean,
knowing
yeah.
everything about us, yes,
Yes.
we cannot put it together. And we needed another level of understanding.
Yes.
I think
Yes,
what makes
she's using the same words we were saying earlier. That how Quran helped us to put things together. How to see the social problems, their effect on the society, how they are going to determine our outcome on the day of judgment, the connection with the creation, the connection with the purpose of the creation. Now the picture
it's clear.
is clear. Now I can navigate because I have a clear map. Before that, where am I going? What is supposed? Why I am created? These big questions that you were not able to answer. And the answer should be dynamic, not really just give you a final answer and that's it. It itself, every answer should bring you to a higher level of understanding. You see, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not like it's a destination, it's a journey. Realizing the names of Allah in my life is a journey, it's not a destination. It's not that, okay, I got a degree in this profession or this discipline, or I am done. I did it. No. You are supposed to continue the journey. And believe me, my dear brothers and sisters, we do not continue the journey until we kill the state that we have reached. You have to have a new life, a new starting point. It's a springboard to bring you to the next level. If you don't mind, I have to answer. And inshallah we'll continue. Just give me a couple of minutes.
In your absence, do I have your permission to say something?
Please.
Okay. What I want to say is just a thought comes to my mind that Dr.
From the first day we started this activity,
15 years ago, right?
yeah, the idea was really to make it as interactive as possible. No one is claiming, okay, any form of, God forbid, superiority or, feeling better than anybody else. The whole idea is really that the more we do, okay, the more is our responsibility. And our responsibility is really communal, is collective. And really we are, I always say, I come with 3 ideas and I come out with 10.
Yeah, that's exactly I said. You call it a discussion.
That's, exactly, and I because of you, I will have more insight into what I started really thinking about, and it is really a dynamic thing that if I have one request, honestly, from myself and from everybody around me, is let us keep free spirit. That there is always something there. But who is going to extend his or her hand into that unknown and bring it to reality?
Very nice, very nice.
There is so much.
You gave a
You
great
remember-
talk at MIT. You
Yeah.
motivated 1,000 students. So all my desire was I wish, and we will inshallah happen.
So let us keep that free spirit and believing
Yeah.
that I every day I say, I wish somebody will teach me a new idea that I will bring me to the next level. I can work also hard to bring it to the next level. This is how we can advance. But if I think, what I have, I don't need anybody else, this is where I start really to decline as an individual, and that may also affect us as a community. Once we see that, okay, and we start really just talking about the insignificant. Today there is a problem not only at IFN or at any other masjid, all over the world. The whole educational system is really deficient, is lacking the problem, lacking what? Teaching the significant, the relevant. Look at your emails. Do you see relevance? Do you see value of what you are receiving in your emails? Just tell me. Do you see something outside the mediocre?
I'm very fortunate. Every morning, evening, I am flooded with new ideas from my students all over the world. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Because you are dealing with the students who are really seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
They need to move into the next level. And I want you to teach them, seek the significant and take away the mediocre. Free yourself from the
I'm your
mediocre.
student, Dr. Khair. I'm your student, so that's what I'm learning.
You see, I mean, we are all really in that process of really looking at the significant. Quran is also telling us the same message. What is really significant? Why there was a need for Muhammad ﷺ to appear at that time in history, in that society? If we don't ask ourselves that question, what is the need? I cannot see the need. So back to our discussion, that there was a problem or problems, but all of them can be encapsulated in the idea of injustice. And to the point that Quran will tell us about these people as fujjar, as mujrimeen, okay, they're committing a crime. And the worst crime, my dear brothers and sisters, the worst crime, when someone becomes the obstacle in front or before someone trying to make a free choice about what to believe in. This is the worst crime. And this is how I see it in this surah. What is the idea of this bullying that we were talking about? Why? Why the believers were being bullied by the non-believers? Okay? Or by a group who did not really accept. Or in fact, these people who went to the extreme to reject. Okay? Without even thinking. Because they saw that the problem of losing their own interest. So they start bullying. What is the aim? What is the aim of bullying?
Demonize them.
Demonize them, belittling them. And in fact, if that will result in these people
Distraction.
Well, Dr. Claire, there's
giving up that new belief.
there's a human need to belong, or the soul needs to belong.
Mhm.
And so that's what they're hitting. That they don't belong, that they don't matter.
Yes,
So you break someone's spirit.
exactly. Break someone's spirit to the point either they commit suicide or leave abandon that message. Quran will call it later on fitna. Fitna. Okay, just remember the word. Let us stick to the Quranic terminology. Fitna. What it means that one of its meanings, okay, when there is a practice, it is to prevent someone from making a free choice in what to believe in. This is why Quran was saying, وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَكْبَرُ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ وَالْفِتْنَةُ أَشَدُّ مِنَ الْقَتْلِ. Is there a crime worse than killing? Murder? This is the worst crime. We learned about it from long time ago. When one of the descendants of Adam killed his own brother. Ibnai Adam. So we know that this is the worst crime one can think of to take the life of another human being. Okay? Quran is saying that fitna is worse than killing. It's bigger. So qualitatively and quantitatively worse than. This is why, my dear brothers and sisters, when Quran says لا إكراه في الدين, there is no compulsion in religion. قد تبين الرشد من الغي. If you want to understand rushd or reach rushd, maturity, righteousness, balance, do not exercise force in any shape or form, okay, in the area of belief, faith. And what do we call the first caliphs after Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What adjective we give them? Rashidin. What? Did we call somebody else Rashidin after them?
No.
Why?
Because they were not on the spectrum.
Why? It's not enough to say that. They were forcing. These are the only 4 people who did not use their authority to force somebody to believe.
This is so beautiful.
Remember that. قد تبين الرشد من الغي. How to differentiate? لا إكراه في الدين is the key, is the operative phrase in that verse. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. So إن الذين أجرموا, now I understand why they are مجرمين. They committed a crime more than murder. Why? Read with me. إن الذين أجرموا, verse 29.
وإذا مروا بهم
إن كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون. They laugh at the believers. They make fun of the believers. Bullying. What students, when they bully each other, what do? They make fun of someone. Is that right? وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِهِمْ يَتَغَامَزُونَ. They blink at each other. You know what does it really mean? It's also another way of demonizing and humiliating and making fun of somebody. How do you feel if you come into a group and they start really looking at each other and blinking? How do you feel? Is that right? You are less than them, or you are not accepted, you are not wanted. وَإِذَا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين. So they are, because they are arrogant. So when they go back, not here, Ahl is not their own families. People like them. Quran changed the definition of Ahl. It's not your only immediate, yes, your immediate family is part of your, or Ahl. Yeah. Your spouse, your children are Ahl. But really, Quran expanded on that definition to include people who are practice like you. They are, like you have common vision with them. Okay? And these people, they have common vision. Again, to humiliate, belittle, demonize the believers. So every time they meet with each other, they boast about what they have been doing. What they used to do with the believers. انقلبوا فكهين. So they say, oh, you see what we did to them today? You see how they looked when they came by us, and they looked like humiliated, weak, and so this is how they were treated. And again, this tells us where the situation reached. Because if you recall, at one point, okay, the people in Mecca start to feel the heat, start to feel at the beginning, yes, Muhammad ﷺ is talking about justice in general, about really, but when he started really talking about specifically the ills of the society that he lives in, he started rocking really the ship, the boat. Okay, they start feeling the threat. Yes, these people used to be our slaves, but now they are standing up. They are really talking back to us. They are really asking about their own rights. They want to believe in what they believe in. They are not asking anymore us as their masters what they have to believe in. You see, so the dynamics change. Okay, and now Quran is taking it to the next level. You need to understand, okay, why the society needs a new system. Your system is not working. This doesn't mean that you did not have a religion. Religion, again, Quran, you will see later on, it changed the way we understand the word religion. This doesn't only mean that the way we understand today religion, like the people how they pray and how they fast and how they pay charity and how they go to their temples. This is how people understand religion. But Quran says no, even the kafir who doesn't go to the church, who does not go to the temple, who does not pray, still has a religion, which means a system of life. They follow a certain system. There is nobody in this world who does not follow a certain system in their own life. And Quran calls this system as religion. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. Where is the who were addressed with this verse? قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا كَافِرُونَ. At the end, lakum dinukum. So it's acknowledgement from Quran through Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that these people, even those who rejected every type of religion, they still have religion. They are following a certain system in their life. And this is how Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling his people, I'm not telling you did not have a religion and I'm bringing you a religion. No. The one that you have is not working anymore. Whatever you have chosen for yourself, you can see the results. The inequity in the society, the injustice, the dividing the society into the elite, the mala, in contrast to the weak, to the slave, women, children, those who don't have any advocate.
But if your
Yes.
point is well taken, can you also point out the agnostics, the secular, the atheists, and all
The
that? They also have
same thing. The same thing. In fact, the atheist is half the way into Islam, because they say La ilaha. They need to continue the journey. Don't tell them you are wrong. No. Tell them you have crossed half of the journey. You have realized that nothing in this world deserves to be a God. But until you then continue the journey to discover Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. You start by negating. No. It's amazing. You see what I mean? So it's again, we are not here to fight. We are not enforcing anything. We are just telling people things that they may not know. Sometimes we take things for granted. We think that people know about these things. Believe me, they don't. How many times we realize that our patients don't know about the effects of smoking, or what does it mean when they don't take their high blood pressure pill? We think, because we deal with these things every day, we reach a point where we take things for granted. Believe me, the first thing in change If you want to affect a change in society, the first thing you would need to tell people where is the problem. Bring it to their consciousness. And this is how I define an intellect. Because people all the time, they are afraid of this word, intellectual. This person is intellectual, I cannot talk with him. He is very intellectual. I can't understand what he is talking. The real intellectual is not the person who has really accumulated these degrees and certificates and diplomas. But in my philosophy, the intellectual is somebody who understands the problem of his society, and he or she is capable of bringing them to the consciousness of the people in order to change the status quo. Because people are taking, see, what is the status quo? Taking things for granted. This is the comfort zone. Oh, things are fine. Okay? Until somebody comes and says, no, things are not going in the right direction. This is the data. I can present the data to you. Things are not going in the right direction. And if we continue, because you may not see it right away, if we continue, we will disintegrate. The society will be destroyed. These are the people that we call sometimes visionaries. They can see more than, when you read, for example, Iqbal, rahimahullah, you think, oh my God, as if he is living today with me, telling me about the consequences, the outcomes that he was warning the whole society, the whole Muslim society, the whole world about. But nobody was able to see it the same way he was able to see it. You see where they can help us? They can see beyond what we can see. But we don't take advantage of our intellectuals. We don't take advantage of these people who are visionaries. And they don't have to be of a certain religion or a certain sect or a certain... No, there are a lot of people that were very helpful for us. Because they were able to see something that others could not really see. And I am in a quest, a journey of search. As Muhammad said, Al-hikmatu dallatul mu'min. The wisdom is the quest of the believer. أينما وجدها فهو أحق الناس به. Wherever you find it, you become the most worthy of it, as if it is yours. It may have been discovered by somebody else, but the moment you find it, you grasp it as if now it becomes your own. This is what I meant earlier by keep the free spirit. Otherwise, we will be imprisoned like these people, and the bigger prison is waiting for them in the hereafter. Sijjin. Sijjin and Sijjin. Sijjin is a prison. Sijjin is exaggeration of, it's a bigger. And this is why Quran always say that the repetition of a mistake or a sin or an error, accepting it will imprison you. أحاطت به خطيئته. It imprisoned us. And يوم القيامة, in the hereafter, he says, وَإِنَّ جَهَنَّمَ لَمُحِيطَةٌ بِالْكَافِرِينَ. You see the analogy? If that sin imprisoned you here, the hellfire will imprison you there. أحاطت ومحيطة. Same language. I am not bringing anything in addition. Really, I am not adding anything from my own language. It is the language of Quran, the same. أحاطت محيطة. One is a verb, one is a state. An adjective. So these are the people that we were saying they were bullying. And I'm using the term because it is easy to understand it today, because we are seeing the problem today in our own schools. And our children may not be immune to that. Don't say, oh, our children are fine, so I don't have to worry about it. No, no, no. If it affects your neighbor child, it means that it affects you. And we have a responsibility. So next time they call for an open house in your school or the school where your children go and they are discussing, be there and stand up and support those who are working hard against, because we know what does it really mean to belittle someone around you or to be belittled by people around you. And Quran is talking about it as jarima, as a crime. And unless the society, again, it is not an individual problem, it is a society issue. Unless the society look at it as a crime, punishable by law, it will not be solved. I'm not saying that the law will repair the situation now, but it will protect the people in the future from a crime like that. So more work should be done so that people bringing this issue. And so far people look at it as an individual problem, because we have not seen a group of people being bullied. Always they single out someone. Is that right? So we may think that it is an individual problem. But now we have learned that Quran is saying, yes, it may manifest itself as individual here and there, but it is really an outbreak. It needs to be approached and solved. It is not one individual problem. It manifests itself at the individual level, but it is socially predicted. So, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ يَضْحَكُونَ. In the hereafter, okay, who laughs best? The last, is that right? So, in the day of judgment, where we see the final outcome, the believers will be laughing. You see, what have you done? See your outcome? And they will start saying among themselves, هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون? Have they seen the outcome of their actions? So Quran will leave it as an open question. Let them answer. Kept it in a rhetorical form. And this is the best way to evoke the answer, not to enforce the answer. As you were saying before, now the whole teaching is geared towards evoking rather than forcing on or upon. It has more lasting effect. This is why you ask questions, your students, and let them answer. You are not interested if they have reached the final answer or the right answer right away, but you want to engage them in the process so they start thinking about it. And as if there is a promise, my dear brothers and sisters. How many times you reach an answer to something and say, how did I come to that? How this idea came? I'm sure you have. From where? It is, believe me, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us and promised us. If you think and you think right, I will give you the right answer. This is why Ibn Khaldun used to say, Istamtir rahmatallah. When you are facing a difficult question, okay, ask for the mercy of Allah to be showered on you, so that He will lead you, guide you, shower His light on you to see the answer. Whether you are in your lab or treating a patient or solving a social problem to one of your clients, or making a business, or you don't know where to go. Istamtir rahmat Allah. So it is embedded in us to reach. Otherwise, how come? And it is what we call it open opportunity, equal opportunity situation. Don't say because I am a Muslim I have to reach it, and somebody who does not. No, has nothing to do. سواء للسائلين. We are all asking as human beings, and Quran is saying it is an equal opportunity for all. Sawa, meaning it is equality. Can you see now firms are really struggling to make things this equal opportunity thing? Is that right? And Quran is saying that it is an equal opportunity. If you ask the right question, you will get the right answer. If you did not get the right answer, do not question the universe. Do not question or doubt Quran. Doubt yourself that you have not done the right thing. Revisit your question again. Restructure your question. Restructure the whole situation. This is what we do sometimes. I tell my students, okay, now this is a very difficult patient. This is a very complicated patient. And if we want to approach that patient in the same way we approach others, we are not going anywhere. We need to restructure the case. If we do not restructure it, there is no way I can contribute to the case. Let them continue what they are doing. But if I really want to contribute to the well-being of that patient, I need to restructure the case. I need to think different from why don't they ask me to come and see the patient? I am not better than them. But they see in my expertise something that they don't have. So I need to think differently. You see, it's very important. Do not doubt the reference. Let us doubt ourselves and revisit what we have done. Now we have reached in our discussion a stage where things will become very clear. The problems have been stated. Until now, have you seen over the last 2 years, we have been discussing the last para of Quran. Have we so far mentioned anything about the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Have we discussed anything about that these people are mushrikeen and these people are like people of Tawheed, or we have not seen even La ilaha illallah. What does it tell us?
It's the groundwork.
There is a groundwork. In order for people to see Allah, they have to realize the need for Him, the need for His beautiful names and attributes. Because Allah is not like a thing. It's not. Otherwise, it will be you are dealing with Him as if like the people were dealing with the statue. And there were people who were basically worshipping one statue. You call it Tawheed? So it's one statue, one God. So what is the difference now? Now, as you will see, the next really chapter is Al-Ikhlas. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Now it comes. After all these discussions, for us, it took us 2 years. Make sense? So think about it, and inshallah when we meet next week, inshallah we'll start discussing Surah Al-Ikhlas.